Chapter 3304. Half of the battleship looked like a battleship from afar. The middle of the battleship had been sliced clean. It was only half a battleship, but it was as big as a planet. It floated in the air, exuding an ancient aura. Even after a long time, it still gave off a strong sense of oppression. Needless to say, it was left behind from the war back then. The person who piloted the battleship was probably an extremely powerful existence. Let's go take a look. Maybe there's something good left behind, Lu Ming said. Although this was not the core area and it had most likely been explored by others, there might still be something left behind. They flew toward the battleship. Wait a minute, there's someone, an old nether ape suddenly said, staring at the battleship with bright eyes. Lu Ming and the others also stopped. At the same time, Lu Ming also saw figures flashing in the battleship. Then, figures rushed out of the battleship. Each figure was wearing a black robe and was eerie. There were about 20 of them. People from the abysmal heavenly palace. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes slightly. These people were from the abysmal heavenly palace. A total of 21 people appeared in front of Lu Ming and the others. Lu Ming, it's you. A cold voice sounded, and a cold murderous intent enveloped Lu Ming. The person who spoke was a young man named Yulong. He was a genius from the abysmal heavenly palace who had entered the broken universe this time. He was in the last batch to join the Great Void Imperial Sacred Academy. Lu Ming deserves to die. Kill. Beside Yulong were 20 experts from the abysmal heavenly palace. Some were old, and some were middle-aged. At this time, all of them stared at Lu Ming with terrifying murderous intent. At the Divine Dragon Banquet, the top geniuses of the abysmal heavenly palace had all died at the hands of Lu Ming. This was a huge blow to the abysmal heavenly palace, and caused a stir in the abysmal heavenly palace. Everyone in the abysmal heavenly palace had already listed Lu Ming as their #1 target. Now, when these people saw Lu Ming, they naturally wanted to cut Lu Ming into pieces. Stop them. Don't let them escape. The nether dragon roared. Whoosh. Whoosh. In a flash, the 20 experts from the abysmal heavenly king mansion surrounded Lu Ming and the others. Lu Ming, let's see where you can run off to today. This place will be your burial ground. It is your honor to be buried with the ancient sages. Yulong sneered. Lu Ming was a bit speechless. He didn't understand where Yulong's confidence came from. Didn't he see that there were 36 people beside him, while Yulong only had 20? Clearly, the rest of the people from the 9 Serenities Heavenly King Mansion were still on the half-battleship. He should be exploring something on the battleship. Are you so sure that you can kill me? I seem to have more people. Lu Ming couldn't help but say this. He didn't expect Yulong to laugh so hard that tears were about to come out of his eyes. He said, "Do you think it's useful to have more people? What a joke, what a joke. The 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion can't even take care of itself. They didn't send any experts to you, right? Do you think you can scare us with just a few dozen people?" Yulong didn't put the 36 Dark Ape Fighting Tribe members beside Lu Ming in his eyes. He was very clear that the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion wouldn't help Lu Ming, because the abysmal Heavenly King Mansion had sent experts to cooperate with the 9 Sabers Heavenly King Mansion to attack the border of the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion and put pressure on them. Now that the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion couldn't even take care of itself, how could they send extra experts to Lu Ming? The people he brought with him were all top experts in the Divine King realm. These experts were not like cabbages that could be found anywhere. It was not easy to find them. Therefore, although he had fewer people, he was very confident that he could kill Lu Ming. Lu Ming didn't say anything. What the other party thought was exactly what he wanted. Why are you talking so much nonsense with him? Kill. An elder from the abysmal Heavenly King Mansion shouted. His murderous intent was the coldest as he charged towards Lu Ming. He was an uncle of Serene Star, and he hated Lu Ming the most. His body moved and he pounced towards Lu Ming like a ghost. A Dark Ape Fighting Tribe member stood in front of Lu Ming silently. Die. The elder from the abysmal Heavenly King Mansion stretched out a ghostly claw and clawed at the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe member, wanting to kill him. Roar. The Dark Ape Fighting Tribe member roared, and his muscles bulged. He threw out a punch that caused a huge explosion in the void. The ghostly claw of the elder from the abysmal Heavenly King mansion exploded. His body shook violently as he retreated. Peak Divine King! The elder from the abysmal Heavenly King mansion roared in shock. Yulong also opened his eyes wide. He obviously didn't expect Lu Ming to have a Peak Divine King by his side. So what if you're a Peak Divine King? You're still going to die. Kill! The elder from the abysmal Heavenly King mansion roared, and continued to charge towards the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe member. His cultivation was also at the Peak Divine King realm. The people from the abysmal Heavenly King mansion were the least afraid of fighting with people of the same level as them. This was because their cultivation techniques were strange and could affect the souls of others. They usually won against people of the same level as them. Ghostly chi filled the sky and a ghostly claw clawed at the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe member. However, the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe member ignored it and threw out another punch. An earth-shattering explosion resounded as ghostly chi filled the air. Die! The elder from the abysmal Heavenly King mansion roared. He thought that the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe member's soul had been affected and wanted to take the opportunity to kill him. However, the Dark Ape Fighting Ape let out a low roar. His aura was still violent as he punched out continuously. You! The elder from the abysmal Heavenly King mansion widened his eyes in disbelief. This was because the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe member's soul wasn't affected at all. Boom! Boom! 2 punches landed on the elder from the abysmal Heavenly King mansion. The elder screamed in pain as his body exploded and turned into a ghostly mist. He frantically retreated and reformed into his human form. Although he didn't die, he was severely injured and his vitality was greatly damaged. How can you not be affected? How is this possible? The elder from the abysmal Heavenly King mansion roared in disbelief. Lu Ming sneered. The abysmal Heavenly King mansion wanted to affect the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe? What a joke! The abysmal Heavenly King mansion cultivated ghostly chi. The technique that affected the soul was also a type of ghostly chi called the abysmal ghostly chi. However, the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe was born as a dark ghost. Their bodies were formed by the dark ghost chi, and they weren't afraid of the abysmal ghostly chi. The abysmal ghostly chi could penetrate the divine body of an ordinary person and affect the soul directly. However, it couldn't penetrate the dark ghost body of the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe. Back in the ghost region, the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe was the nemesis of many ghosts, let alone the people from the abysmal Heavenly King mansion. Their techniques were ineffective against the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe. Yulong was shocked and he shouted, "Let's attack together. They don't have many Peak Divine King realm experts. Let's attack them together." Chapter 3305. Yulong roared. He wanted the experts of the abysmal Heavenly King mansion to attack together and kill Lu Ming. It was out of his expectation that Lu Ming could find Peak Divine King experts. However, he did not believe that Lu Ming could find many Peak Divine Kings. It would be great if he could find a few. Moreover, he must have paid a huge price to invite them. Boom! 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 The 20 experts of the abysmal Heavenly King mansion released a terrifying aura. The starry sky was completely covered by ghost chi. 15 Peak Divine Kings and 5 8th layer Divine Kings. The abysmal Heavenly King mansion is really willing to pay a huge price. Lu Ming muttered. Among the 20 experts of the abysmal Heavenly King mansion, 15 of them were Peak Divine Kings. No wonder Yulong was so confident. 15 Peak Divine Kings was indeed a terrifying force. Logically speaking, it was not difficult for the abysmal Heavenly King mansion to send out 36 Peak Divine Kings. However, it was not easy to do so. Even a Heavenly King mansion would not have many Peak Divine Kings. Most of them were in seclusion to break through to the Divine Sovereign Realm. Some of them were out on missions and training. The rest were stationed in various places to guard against the attacks of other Heavenly Kings. Therefore, it wasn't easy to send out 36 Peak Divine Kings. For example, the 36 people from the Jiuyu Heavenly King mansion weren't all Peak Divine Kings. Some of them were in the 8th Divine King layer. However, it was still a terrifying force. Ghost chi covered the starry sky. Countless ghosts wailed as they charged towards Lu Ming and the others. "You guys are really looking down on me. Then let's kill them all together." Lu Ming said faintly and waved his hand. Roar! Roar! The 36 Dark Ape Fighting Tribe roared as their bodies swelled up. Their black robes were torn apart, revealing their strong and sturdy bodies. A terrifying aura erupted like a volcano. The ghost chi in the starry sky exploded. Yu Long and the experts of the abysmal Heavenly King Mansion almost peed their pants. Peak Divine Kings. They are all Peak Divine Kings. No, this is impossible. This is impossible. Yu Long screamed hysterically. She couldn't believe it. He originally thought that Lu Ming being able to find a few Peak Divine Kings was already something with a very low probability. But now the 36 people around Lu Ming were actually all Peak Divine Kings. He was scared out of his wits. Retreat. Someone from the 9 Serenities Heavenly King Mansion roared. As soon as the 36 Abyssal Ape Battle Tribe members unleashed their auras, the people from the 9 Serenities Heavenly King Palace trembled in fear. However, it was already too late. Previously, they had surrounded Lu Ming's group and were the closest to them. Then they took the initiative to attack Lu Ming and the others. It was too late for them to retreat now. 30 Abyssal Ape Battle Tribe members were already charging toward them. The body of the Nether Ape Battle Clan member swelled as he used the Ghost Battle Art. His combat strength exploded, and his fighting spirit soared. A huge fist punched out, causing the void to explode. A terrifying force enveloped all the experts of the abysmal Heavenly King Mansion. Bang, bang, bang. 5 warriors of the 8th King God Realm exploded and died on the spot. The 9th layer Divine King Realm experts of the 9 Serenities Heavenly King Mansion didn't fare any better. They were severely injured. The 9 Serenities Heavenly King Mansion's most terrifying technique was the 9 Serenities Ghost Chi that could affect one's soul. Ordinary people were afraid of them. If the 9 Serenities Ghost Chi lost its effect, the people of the 9 Serenities Heavenly King Mansion would be weaker than others. However, the Abyssal Ape Battle Clan was different. They cultivated the Ghost Battle Art, and once they used it, their combat strength would be even stronger. In addition, the number of Abyssal Ape Battle Clan members was almost twice the number of the 9 Serenities Heavenly King Mansion. The outcome of this battle was already decided. The experts of the 9 Serenities Heavenly King Mansion screamed in agony. They couldn't escape even if they wanted to. Their bodies exploded and turned into ghost chi, but it was useless. Even their souls were destroyed by the terrifying fist chi. 15 Peak Divine King Realm experts of the 9 Serenities Heavenly King Mansion were killed one after another. Yulong's cultivation base wasn't high. He was standing at the back of the group, so he wasn't affected. Now his body was trembling and his face was pale. His lips trembled and he kept shouting, "No, no, no." The scene in front of him was too horrifying. At this moment, a Abyssal Ape Battle Clan member walked towards Yulong. "No, don't kill me. How many divine crystals did Lu Ming pay to hire you? I can pay you double, no triple, or even 10 times. Yulong screamed and was about to cry. Until now, he still thought that the Abyssal Ape Battle Clan members were hired by Lu Ming. Boom. The Abyssal Ape Battle Clan member didn't want to waste time talking to him. He threw a punch and Yulong exploded. The battle continued, but it didn't last long. All the experts of the 9 Serenities Heavenly King Mansion were killed. There are still people of the 9 Serenities Heavenly King Mansion in the battleship. Surround the battleship and kill them all. Lu Ming ordered. Other than Yulong and the 20 people of the 9 Serenities Heavenly King Mansion, there were 36 of them. There should be 16 of them left. In a flash, they rushed towards the battleship. The 36 Abyssal Ape Battle Clan members appeared around the battleship, blocking all the escape routes of the battleship. "Half of you go in and the rest of you seal this place," Lu Ming said. "Yes." In an instant, 18 Abyssal Ape Battle Clan members rushed into the battleship and disappeared inside. Lu Ming and the others waited quietly. Not long after, a violent roar came from the battleship. There were continuous explosions. Obviously, a great battle had broken out inside. The Abyssal Ape Battle Clan members outside were ready to attack. Whoosh. In the next moment, an expert of the 9 Serenities Heavenly King Mansion rushed out of the battleship in a panic. However, there was a Abyssal Ape Battle Clan member guarding the battleship. The Abyssal Ape Battle Clan member charged forward and launched an attack. He punched the expert of the 9 Serenities Heavenly King Mansion and blew him up. Then another Abyssal Ape Battle Clan member charged out. The two experts besieged the expert of the 9 Serenities' Heavenly King Mansion. He let out an unwilling cry before his body and soul were destroyed. Whoosh! Whoosh! Then more figures rushed out of the battleship. They were all experts of the 9 Serenities' Heavenly King Mansion. There were more than a dozen of them. Obviously, the experts of the 9 Serenities' Heavenly King Mansion were no match for the Abyssal Ape Battle Clan. They had scattered and tried to escape. However, they were surrounded and had nowhere to run. They were surrounded and killed by the Abyssal Ape Battle Clan members outside. The experts of the 9 Serenities' Heavenly King Mansion were surrounded and killed one after another. Lu Ming, it's you little bastard. I'll kill you. A furious roar sounded as an expert of the 9 Serenities' Heavenly King Mansion charged towards Lu Ming. His speed was extremely fast. He was a peak Divine King Realm expert. However, there was an expert of the Abyssal Ape Battle Clan following beside Lu Ming. Although this Abyssal Ape Battle Clan member was also a peak Divine King Realm expert, he was stronger. When he was young, he was the top genius of the Abyssal Ape Battle Clan. Chapter 3306. Next to Lu Ming, the Nether Ape Fighting Tribe stepped out. The void vibrated and his body transformed into a giant ape that was dozens of meters tall. With a roar, an iron rod appeared in his hand and he threw it forward. The iron cudgel was bigger than a mountain. As it came crashing down, the attack of the expert from the abysmal Heavenly King Mansion collapsed. Boom. His body was crushed by the metal rod and exploded into a cloud of ghostly chi. Then, another Nether Ape Fighting Tribe expert rushed out from behind and attacked the same expert. The Nether Ape Fighting Tribe was the nemesis of the Abysmal Heavenly Palace. Against the Nether Ape Fighting Tribe, the Abysmal Heavenly Palace could not use many powerful techniques. If they were facing other peak Divine King experts, the Nether Ape Fighting Tribe would not be able to kill them so easily. However, it was not difficult for them to kill the experts of the Abysmal Heavenly Palace. Even if the experts of the Abysmal Heavenly Palace turned into ghostly chi, they would still be able to cause great harm to them. Soon, the expert of the Abysmal Heavenly Palace fell under the attacks of the two Nether Apes. Not long after, the battle ended. All the experts of the Abysmal Heavenly Palace were killed. Lu Ming looked at the number of experts. There were exactly 16 of them. In addition to the 20 from before, there were 36 of them. This meant that no one from the Abysmal Heavenly Palace was left alive. The Abysmal Heavenly Palace must be heartbroken to lose so many experts. Let's just take it as interest. A cold light flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. He would not let the grudge between him and the Abysmal Heavenly Palace go so easily. He would have to settle the score in the future. Combat Ancestor, here are their storage rings. At this time, an old Nether Ape Fighting Tribe expert handed over a pile of storage rings to Lu Ming. Lu Ming did not hesitate to take them. He needed a lot of resources now. He would need a lot of resources to establish his own clan. Then Lu Ming picked out Yulong's storage rings and looked through them. After a while, Lu Ming waved his hand and a primitive idol appeared in the air. It was Yulong's idol. Yulong's primordial statue had not been consecrated either. Furthermore, it was slightly smaller than Lu Ming's statue. It was only 1,000 feet tall. Lu Ming's primordial statue was at least 10,000 feet tall. The taller the statue, the more precious it was. However, even the primitive divine statue that was 100 feet tall was extremely precious. If one wanted to buy it, the price would be shocking. That was because no one could refine such a thing. The number of primordial idols in the universe was limited. They would only become fewer and fewer, not more. With a wave of his hand, Lu Ming put the primordial idol together with his primordial idol. What were the people of the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion doing in this half of the battleship? Lu Ming asked an abyssal ape. They're attacking a metal wall. Maybe they've discovered something? The dark ape warrior said. Metal walls? Let's go and take a look. Lu Ming left a few Dark Ape Combat Tribe members to patrol outside while he led the rest of the Dark Ape Combat Tribe members into the battleship. The warship was incomparably huge and spacious. There were all kinds of buildings and countless passageways, densely packed together. With one of the Dark Ape Combat Tribe members leading the way, they flew into one of the passageways. After traveling for an unknown distance, they finally arrived at a spacious hall. At the front of the hall, there were several large screens. This seemed to be the control room of the battleship. Below the screens, there was a golden metal wall. Those people from the Nine Nether Heavenly King Mansion were attacking this wall. One of the Dark Ape Combat Tribe members said, "Seems like there's something in the wall. Break it," Lu Ming ordered. The Dark Ape Combat Tribe members nodded and began to attack. However, when the Dark Ape Combat Tribe members' attacks landed on the metal wall, runes appeared on the surface of the metal wall. These runes looked ancient and mysterious, and they were filled with powerful energy waves. The Dark Ape Combat Tribe members' attacks were all blocked by these runes. More than 20 Dark Ape Combat Tribe members continued to attack. Although the metal wall shook continuously, it did not break after a while. "You guys stop first," Lu Ming shouted. The Dark Ape Combat Tribe members stopped and looked at Lu Ming curiously. Did Lu Ming have a solution? "Ball go. It's up to you now." Lu Ming waved his hand, and ball flew out from his wrist. It turned into a round ball and rushed to the wall, opening its mouth to gnaw on it. Gotcha. Sparks flew in all directions. A small piece of the metal wall was bitten off by ball. The Dark Ape Combat Tribe members were stunned. They knew very well how hard the metal wall was. They had attacked it for so long, but they had not broken it. However, Ball had bitten off a large piece of the metal wall, as if it had completely ignored the runes on it. Crunch, crunch. Ball began to eat in big bites. Soon it had finished the piece of metal it had just bitten off. Then it continued to chew. With a crunch, another piece was bitten off. Ball continued to eat very happily. Soon, a large hole was bitten out of the metal wall, and they could see the situation behind it. Behind the metal wall, there was a small space. There was a golden metal ball floating there. It was a strange piece of metal. Seeing this piece of metal, Ball's eyes shone and it almost drooled. This metal should be the energy source of this battleship. However, after so many years, its energy has been depleted. Only pure metal is left. However, it's still very precious. I'm afraid it would be difficult to find a similar metal in the Taishu dynasty, Bone commented in the Sea of Consciousness. It's that precious? Lu Ming was surprised. Of course. In this broken universe, those who participated in the war back then were all extremely terrifying existences. The Taishu dynasty could not compare to them. Of course, it's a supreme treasure that can be used as the energy source of this battleship, Bone explained. At this moment, Ball had already made its move. It rushed into the hole, opened its mouth and swallowed the metal ball. This guy? Lu Ming smiled and did not stop her. Qiu would be able to unleash the greatest effect of good metal materials. These years, Ball had eaten a large number of divine weapons, and its cultivation had improved greatly. It was now at the peak of the sixth king god realm. Now that it had swallowed the metal ball, it believed that it would have a great breakthrough. At that time, it would be a great help to Lu Ming. After swallowing the metal ball, Ball flew back to Lu Ming's wrist and turned back into a bracelet. Then it began to refine the metal. Lu Ming and the others started to search around the battleship. They wanted to see if there were any other treasures. However, it was obvious that this place had already been searched. They walked around but did not find anything else. They also did not absorb any god's spiritual factor. Lu Ming and the people of the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe left this place and continued to move towards the core of the broken universe. Chapter 3307. After another month of travel, Lu Ming and the rest finally arrived at the core region of the broken universe. This region was even more dangerous. Looking from afar, they could see terrifying storms whizzing past. They could also see broken planets floating in the air. They could also see broken battleships and spaceships. Looking from afar, Lu Ming seemed to see horrifying giant beast corpses floating in the air. Looking closely, they were not corpses but planets that looked like giant beasts. This was the core region of the broken universe, and it had not been fully explored. It was said that the geniuses who had entered the broken universe had come here to look for God's spiritual factors and absorb them. Lu Ming and the rest did not enter immediately. Instead, they wandered around to find a suitable place to enter. If the place was not suitable, they would encounter a cosmic storm, a huge crack, or a black hole. It would be a close shave. After circling around in a huge arc, they finally came to a relatively quiet region. Looking from afar, they could not see any cosmic storm. Looks like the rest are almost here. Lu Ming squinted his eyes. He saw many figures in front of him. Di Jiani led 36 experts and stood on a small meteorite, looking from afar. Su Wuya, Yi Jifan, and the rest led their experts and stood in different directions. Lu Ming also saw Chu Qingkong, Wu Fan, and a few others. At a glance, he saw at least a dozen geniuses and their experts. Lu Ming's arrival attracted the attention of the crowd. Many eyes looked at Lu Ming and the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe. Lu Ming. Wu Fan and Chu Qingkong's eyes lit up when they saw Lu Ming. Cold murderous intent flashed in their eyes. Go, don't let him escape. Wu Fan shouted. He led the experts from the Imperial Advisor's mansion and charged toward Lu Ming. On the left, Chu Qingkong had also brought his men with him, stepping into the air. Together with Wu Fan, they formed a triangular formation and charged toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming squinted his eyes and signaled the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe to get ready to defend. Lu Ming, you actually made it this far. Looks like your luck is pretty good. Wu Fan sneered. When they neared Lu Ming, he did not bother to hide the murderous intent in his eyes, cold and ferocious. Boom. On the other side, Chu Qingkong was also emitting a cold killing intent. He stared at Lu Ming with cold eyes. Especially when he recalled how he had been trampled by Lu Ming during the opening of the Great Void Imperial Academy. He had to apologize to Lu Ming in front of everyone, and his killing intent soared. That battle was his greatest humiliation and a stain in his life. Only by killing Lu Ming would he be able to wash away that stain. My luck has always been good. Lu Ming smiled faintly. No matter how lucky you are, it's useless if you're not smart. Since you dared to come here, you're doomed. Wu Fan said coldly. With a slight wave of his hand, 36 experts fanned out to block Lu Ming's path. Their auras locked onto Lu Ming's group. So many experts. The Imperial Advisor's mansion is indeed the Imperial Advisor's mansion. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. Judging from the aura that they exuded, the 36 people that Wu Fan brought were all peak supreme beings. The Imperial Advisor's mansion was indeed powerful, surpassing most of the Heavenly King's mansions. On the other hand, the experts that Chu Qingkong brought with him were also very terrifying. Lu Ming had a feeling that although not all of the 36 people were peak God Kings, there were at least 26 of them or even more. After so many years of dormancy, the War God family had accumulated a terrifying strength. With the help of the Nine Sabers' Heavenly King mansion, it was not difficult for them to send out 20 to 30 peak supreme beings. The two groups of people were twice as many as Lu Ming's group. The experts of the Nether Ape Fighting Tribe also felt the pressure. They protected Lu Ming in the middle, and were ready for a big battle. Two groups of people against one. Using numbers to bully the weak, how shameless. Let me deal with you. A voice rang out. Qian Shengxian brought a group of experts to help Lu Ming. Qian Shengxian already knew that old Heavenly King Qian Shengxian had helped Lu Ming's group. Hence, she had a good impression of Lu Ming's group. When she saw that Wu Fan and Chu Qingkong wanted to attack Lu Ming's group, she was instantly displeased. Qian Shengxian, this is between us and Lu Ming. It has nothing to do with you. Wu Fan said coldly. That's right. Qian Shengxian, why are you getting involved? If you want to fight, I'll accompany you. At this moment, a figure came from another direction. A young man brought a group of experts and blocked Qian Shengxuan's path. Lu Quan, you want to interfere too? This has nothing to do with the Crown Prince's mansion, right? Qian Shengxuan's face darkened. Lu Quan was one of the supreme talents under the Crown Prince. The experts he brought this time were all sent by the Crown Prince. Each of them was an elite. During the Sacred Dragon Banquet, Lu Ming was arrogant and arrogant. He contradicted the Crown Prince several times and was disrespectful to him. Although the Crown Prince was magnanimous and did not take it to heart, I can't stand it. I must teach him a lesson. Lu Quan said coldly. Crown Prince. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. He did not believe Lu Quan's nonsense. Without the Crown Prince's permission, Lu Quan would take the initiative to attack him. Could it be the Crown Prince? Lu Ming had many thoughts in his mind. He thought of Bikua in the Black Jade Gold Mine. Ordinary people could not order Bikua around. Only the national advisor or the crown prince could order Bikua around. Qian Xingxian wanted to refute, but she and her men were blocked by Lu Quan and could not pass. As for Di Jiani, Su Wuya and the rest, they could only watch from afar. Naturally, they would not get involved. Wu Fan, Chu Qingkong, if you want to fight, hurry up. Lu Quan said. Attack. A low roar was heard. It did not come from Chu Qingkong or Wu Fan, but from Lu Ming. Lu Ming gave the order to take action. He would gain the upper hand if he struck first. Boom. 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 The 36 Dark Ape Fighting Tribe members exploded with powerful auras like 36 volcanoes erupting. They used their full strength and used the secret skill of the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe, the Ghost Combat skill. Their combat strength increased rapidly. Their bodies turned into giant apes and they roared at the sky as they charged towards Chu Qingkong. This was because Chu Qingkong's side was relatively weaker. Although Chu Qingkong and the rest were prepared for a big fight, they did not expect the 36 experts that Lu Ming had brought with him to be so powerful. They were all peak supreme beings. In just a single exchange, 6 God Kings who were not even at God King realm pinnacle were obliterated on the spot. Another 7 to 8 peak supreme beings were severely injured. Unfortunately, they were not killed. It was not easy to deal with ordinary peak supreme beings, unlike the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe members who were restrained by the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe. Chapter 3308. As soon as the 36 Dark Ape Fighting Tribe members attacked, they unleashed a terrifying killing power. Among the experts that Chu Qingkong had brought with him, 5 to 6 8th layer Divine Realm experts died in an instant, and 7 to 8 peak Divine Realm experts were severely injured. Kill. The Dark Ape Fighting Tribe members roared. Their aura became violent, and their fighting spirit soared to the sky. They continued to attack ferociously. Their iron rods and fist chi filled the sky, causing the void to tremble. They did not give their opponents any chance to catch their breath. A few unwilling and shrill screams were heard. Among the experts that Chu Qingkong had brought with him, there were a few peak divine kings. Finally, they were defeated and their bodies and souls were destroyed. At this moment, everyone was stunned. The combat power of the 36 Dark Ape Fighting Tribe members had shocked them greatly. Previously, most of them had thought that Lu Ming did not have any powerful forces behind him, and they would not be able to send any powerful experts to help him. At this moment, they understood that they were wrong. They had underestimated Lu Ming. The experts that Lu Ming had brought with him were terrifying. They were all peak divine kings. Especially Chu Qingkong and Wu Fan. They had already taken action to prevent the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion from sending more experts to help Lu Ming. They had never expected that Lu Ming would bring so many experts with him. It's the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe. Damn the 9 Extinction Heavenly King. How dare he let the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe out? Attack. Quickly attack and kill these bastards. Wu Fan shouted crazily when he came to his senses. Then, the 36 experts that Wu Fan had brought with him attacked. Their violent attacks were like stormy waves crashing towards Lu Ming and the others. The entire starry sky exploded. They are all peak divine kings. Lu Ming's face fell. The 36 experts that Wu Fan had brought with him were all peak divine kings. The Imperial Advisor's mansion was indeed powerful. Block them. The Dark Ape Fighting Tribe members roared. They did not continue to chase after Chu Qingkong's men. Most of the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe members turned around and blocked the attacks of Wu Fan's men. Each of the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe members had transformed into a giant ape. They opened their mouths and fangs as ghostly chi filled the sky. Some of them used their iron rods as weapons while some used their fists. Their combat power was strong, and they were like war machines. Boom boom. A terrifying tremor erupted as the void exploded. Terrifying energy spread out in all directions. Some of the meteorites in the surroundings were directly blasted apart and turned into dust. Lu Ming was protected in the middle by the Dark Ape Battle Tribe. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to withstand the shockwaves. However, even though the Dark Ape Battle Tribe was strong, they were outnumbered. The 36 experts that Wu Fan had brought with him, and the 20 over experts under Chu Qingkong were almost twice as many as the Hell Ape. They were all peak divine kings of the same level. As a result, the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members were blocked, and it was difficult for them to inflict any effective damage on the enemy. The Dark Ape Battle Tribe is following Lu Ming. How strange. Interesting. I thought it would be a one-sided battle. But now, that might not be the case. Around them, some people were whispering. Qian Shengxian and Lu Quan did not expect this to happen. Their expressions were completely different. Boom. In the blink of an eye, the two sides had exchanged dozens of blows. However, the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe was indeed powerful. Even though the other side had the advantage in numbers, they were still blocked by the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe. Don't get caught up in the battle. Let's rush out. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members. They were outnumbered. If the battle dragged on, they would definitely be at a disadvantage. Moreover, Lu Quan was eyeing them from the side. Lu Quan was the Crown Prince's subordinate. The experts that he had brought with him would definitely be powerful. After receiving Lu Ming's message, the 36 Dark Ape Battle Tribe members gathered together and rushed in one direction. In that direction, the experts that Chu Qingkong had brought with him were outnumbered. When the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members rushed in, they were almost defeated. Stop them. Don't let the leader and the rest escape. Wu Fan shouted and gave the order from the rear. Wu Fan's subordinates released a terrifying wave of energy and attacked the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members. A few of the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members were careless and were injured. Let's kill our way out, roared an old Abyssal Ape Battle Clan member. He wielded an iron rod, which was extremely powerful. The two peak godly kings in front of him were actually suppressed by him, and they were forced to retreat. Lu Ming's formation was slowly breaking out. If this continued, it would only be a matter of time before they broke out of the encirclement. The 10 of you, go and help Wu Fan and the rest. Today we must kill Lu Ming. Cold light flashed in Lu Quan's eyes as he secretly transmitted the message to the 10 experts. Swoosh. Swoosh. The 10 experts immediately moved and rushed towards the battlefield where Lu Ming and the rest were. They were so fast that they crossed the starry sky in an instant and appeared in the vicinity of the battlefield. Boom. Boom. The 10 experts made their moves, displaying their terrifying battle prowess. Without a doubt, they were all peak divine kings. Once they attacked, their power was terrifying. Their combat strength was not weaker than the experts of the Dark Ape Battle Tribe. They were all elite sent by the Crown Prince. When they were young, they were all geniuses. They were powerful and were experts among their peers. Each of them was not weaker than the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members. With the addition of the 10 experts, the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members were at a disadvantage. Lu Quan, you are despicable. So many of you are besieging Lu Ming. Qian Xingxuan's eyes widened as she led her men to attack. However, Lu Quan still had 26 people under him. Lu Quan waved his hand, and the 26 people all exploded with powerful auras. Their auras were extremely terrifying. They were like a great wall that blocked the path of the void. Boom. The two sides attacked and exchanged blows. However, the result was that the 36 people brought by Qian Shengxian were blocked, and some of them were even forced to retreat. The 36 people were no match for the 26 people. Qian Shengxian and the experts from Qian Shengxuan's Heavenly King Mansion looked solemn. The people sent by the Crown Prince were indeed terrifying. All of them were peak divine kings and their combat strength was extremely shocking. The 10 people who had attacked the Nether Ape Battle Tribe earlier were powerful, but the remaining 26 people were all elites. Experts. All of them were experts. This made the others, such as Di Jiani and Su Wuya, look extremely solemn. Although they were peerless geniuses, their cultivation levels were still weak. If they were to face such peak divine kings, they would only be defeated. The experts sent by the Crown Prince were too terrifying. The people they brought were probably no match for them. At the scene, only the experts sent by the second prince would be able to fight against them. The fierce battle continued. At this moment, the Dark Ape Battle Tribe was completely at a disadvantage. They were barely able to resist, let alone fight back. Moreover, their formation was slowly being broken. In twos and threes, they distanced themselves from each other and fought on their own. In this way, Lu Ming was exposed to the others. Go and kill Lu Ming. Kill Lu Ming now. Wu Fan and Chu Chengkong shouted at the same time. Chapter 3309. Wu Fan and Chu Chengkong roared. Immediately, two of the top powers stepped out and charged towards Lu Ming. The two peak supreme beings pounced towards Lu Ming, bringing with them a violent force that caused the void to tremble. Terrifying pressure surged towards Lu Ming. Oh no, combat ancestor! The top powers from the Dark Ape fighting tribe shouted in anger. Given Lu Ming's cultivation, he would definitely die if he was besieged by two peak supreme beings. Lu Ming! Qian Shengxian exclaimed as she could not bear to see Su Mo die. She knew that thousand holy old heavenly king valued Lu Ming. However, it was a pity that Lu Ming would definitely die under such circumstances. The others had different expressions on their faces. For example, Di Jianyi's eyes flashed with sword radiance. No one knew what he was thinking. Some of them sneered as they gloated over Su Mo's misfortune. Some of them sighed as they felt pity for Lu Ming. Ha ha, go to hell. On the other hand, Wu Fan was laughing hysterically. He felt extremely carefree. It was as if he could already see Lu Ming being killed. His greatest enemy was finally going to be eliminated. Lu Ming squinted his eyes as he retreated to the side. Trying to escape? Go to hell. One of Wu Fan's underlings shouted as he slashed down with his finger like a sword. Suddenly, a shocking sword radiance slashed towards Lu Ming. A terrifying sword scar that was a few million miles long appeared in the starry sky. At that moment, a set of array flags appeared in Lu Ming's hand. With a wave of his hand, a total of 12 array flags flew out and landed in 12 different positions. This was the most powerful set of array flags that Blue Merchant had given him. It was specially used for defense. The array flags shone and formed a light wall in front of Lu Ming. Boom! The sword radiance slashed the light wall, causing the light wall to shake violently. However, it was blocked in the end. You want to use a set of array flags to stop us? How naive. Die. On the other side, one of Chu Chengkong's underlings, an expert from the war god family, had also arrived. He waved his long spear and a mountain-like spear radiance struck the light wall. Rumble! The terrifying energy exploded, causing waves to fill the sky. The wall of light violently trembled, and then cracks appeared on it before it finally exploded. The light wall was broken, and the 12 array flags exploded into ashes at the same time. Let's see what other treasures you have. Wu Fan's subordinate had a dark and gloomy expression. He wanted to kill Lu Ming and establish a great merit in front of Wu Fan. Perhaps he could obtain a reward from the imperial scholar that could help him break into the Divine Lord realm. At the thought of being able to break through to the Divine Lord realm, he was especially excited. His speed increased by a few notches as he charged towards Lu Ming. At this time, Lu Ming stopped. A purple copper coffin appeared in his hand. Whoa! Lu Ming suddenly swung the purple copper coffin. The purple copper coffin shook, and the mud stuck on it flew out like raindrops towards the two experts. Humph! Petty tricks! Wu Fan's subordinate and the expert from the war god family snorted coldly. They waved their palms, and divine power burst forth, wanting to send the mud flying. However, when their divine power came into contact with the mud, their divine power was like tofu, pierced through by the mud. The mud didn't stop, and continued to fly towards the two experts. Their expressions changed, and with a shout, they attacked with all their might, wanting to send the mud flying. However, just like before, their attacks were also pierced through by the mud. The dense mud hit their bodies, and their bodies immediately turned into a hornet's nest. The two Divine King experts let out shrill cries. Their bodies were shriveling and corroding. The scene was horrifying. Kill! Lu Ming shouted coldly, and used the Nine Heavens Kuan-Peng technique. Lu Ming had already cultivated the Nine Heavens Kuan-Peng technique to the 10th level, and his speed was even more shocking. In a flash, Lu Ming appeared in front of the two peak Divine King experts, and the purple copper coffin smashed down. Bam! Bam! The two peak Divine King experts' bodies exploded, and they died on the spot. Everything happened too quickly, and the surrounding people were dumbfounded. Wu Fan and Chu Chengkong were tongue-tied, and their faces were dumbfounded. 2 peak stage God King powerhouses were killed just like that. It was truly shocking to everyone's eyeballs. After killing the 2 peak Divine King experts, Lu Ming didn't stop. His body flashed, and like a Korenpung, he pounced towards Wu Fan. To catch bandits, first catch the ringleader. Wu Fan had been far away from the battlefield, giving out orders from the back, and there wasn't a single expert around to protect him. At this moment, when he saw Lu Ming coming towards him, his face turned pale with fright, and he shouted, "Quick, come and save me. Don't even think about killing young master." One of Wu Fan's subordinates roared, and he charged towards Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming waved the purple copper coffin, and some mud flew out. That expert followed in the footsteps of the previous 2 experts, and his body was pierced through by the mud. He let out a scream of terror. The others who wanted to save him were terrified, and their bodies stiffened. They hesitated for a moment. In just a moment, Lu Ming was already close to Wu Fan. Wu Fan wasn't willing to give up, and he roared madly, using all his strength to defend himself. Lu Ming didn't use the purple copper coffin, and instead he used the Sovereign's Gate. Now Lu Ming didn't plan to kill Wu Fan. His goal was to take Wu Fan down, and use the opportunity to escape. The mud on the purple copper coffin had been used in the Black Jade gold mine. In addition to the previous few times, the mud on the purple copper coffin had been used up, and only a thin layer was left. If he continued to use the purple copper coffin, it wouldn't have much power left. As the Sovereign's Gate pressed down, Wu Fan's body shook violently, and he spat out blood as he retreated. Back when the Great Void Imperial Family Holy Court was held, he wasn't a match for Lu Ming. Although he had made great progress in the past few years, Lu Ming had improved even more. Now their combat strength was on a completely different level. Extreme Pupil. After injuring Wu Fan with the Sovereign's Gate, Lu Ming used the Extreme Pupil. A whirlpool appeared above Wu Fan's head, and a terrifying chill enveloped Wu Fan. In an instant, Wu Fan was frozen and couldn't move. At the same time, Lu Ming appeared beside Wu Fan, and the ice chains flew out and surrounded Wu Fan. "Stop, or I'll kill him." Lu Ming's cold voice rang out, and it echoed through the starry sky. "Young master, you deserve to die." Seeing that Wu Fan was captured, Wu Fan's subordinates had no choice but to stop. When Wu Fan's subordinates stopped, the pressure on the Dark Ape fighting tribe was greatly reduced, and many of them gathered together. However, Chu Qingkong's subordinates and the Crown Prince's subordinates were still attacking. "You guys go and stop them, or I'll kill Wu Fan right now." Lu Ming ordered Wu Fan's subordinates to stop Chu Qingkong and the Crown Prince's subordinates. "You don't go too far." Wu Fan's subordinates shouted angrily. If they went to stop the Crown Prince's subordinates, wouldn't they be going against the Crown Prince? "You're not going to do anything?" Lu Ming said coldly. A long spear condensed in his hand, and he pierced Wu Fan's thigh. Wu Fan screamed in pain. "Lu Quan, brother Lu, do me a favor and stop attacking." Wu Fan screamed. Chapter 33:10. Wu Fan screamed and pleaded with Lu Quan. He wanted Lu Quan to stop. Now that he was in the hands of Lu Ming, his life was in Lu Ming's hands. He was really afraid. If he forced Lu Ming into a corner, he would die with him. He wanted to kill Lu Ming, but he didn't want to die. If he died, what was the point of killing Lu Ming? In his heart, 10,000 Lu Ming were not worth a single hair on his body. Lu Quan's eyes changed. He waved his hand and said unwillingly, "Stop." As soon as Lu Quan said that, the 10 men of the Crown Prince stopped and left the battlefield in a flash. After all, Wu Fan was the son of the state preceptor. If he died because of him, even though he was on the Crown Prince's side, he wouldn't be able to withstand the anger of the state preceptor. It would be very bad for his future. He was naturally willing to give Wu Fan face. Retreat. As soon as the Crown Prince's men retreated, Chu Qingkong's men also retreated. They had no choice. Even if they wanted to continue attacking, they were no match for the Dark Ape fighting tribe. If they continued to fight, they would be the ones to be destroyed. "Come to me," Lu Ming shouted. Then the experts of the Dark Ape fighting tribe gathered around Lu Ming. Lu Ming glanced at them, and heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the Dark Ape fighting tribe didn't die. At most, they were seriously injured. The dark ape fighting tribe was Lu Ming's precious wealth. In the future, he would rely on them to conquer the world. If they died, Lu Ming's heart would bleed. Lu Ming, we have stopped. Now you can let young Master Wu Fan go. An elder from the state preceptor's residence said. His eyes were extremely cold. If I let him go now, what if you besiege me again? Lu Ming sneered. What do you mean? Are you not going to let young master go? The elder from the state preceptor's residence looked even colder. I will let him go, but only after we get away. Lu Ming said. No, what if you kill young master after you escape? No way. The old man from the imperial advisor's residence shouted. He would never agree to this. That's right. With Lu Ming's temperament, he will definitely kill Wu Fan after they escape. We can't let them escape. Chu Qinkong said with a cold expression. At the moment he was hiding in the middle of those warriors, and was being protected. He was afraid that he would end up like Wu Fan. Then Lu Quan also said that he couldn't let Lu Ming leave. Lu Ming's face darkened. He really did have this plan. After he escaped, he would kill Wu Fan directly. Now, it seemed that the other party would not let him have his way. However, if he let Wu Fan go now, the other party would definitely continue to attack them. The situation suddenly turned into a stalemate. Let's go. After a while, Lu Ming said and led the Dark Ape Battle clan members towards the core of the broken universe. We can't let them go. Chase after them. The warriors from the Imperial Advisor's residence shouted and chased after Lu Ming. Nothing must happen to Wu Fan. Otherwise, they would not be able to bear the Imperial Advisor's anger. Let's go too. Chu Qinkong said and led his men to chase after Lu Ming and the others. He still did not want to let Lu Ming off so easily. Let's go. Lu Quan led the people from the Crown Prince's residence and chased after them. Let's go and take a look. Qian Shengxian led the people from the Thousand Saints' Heavenly King residence and chased after them. As for the others, they did not follow. Their goal was to find the deity factor, not to watch others kill. Not long after, Di Jiani, Su Wuya and the others moved. They led the experts under them and entered the core of the broken universe to look for the deity factor. Lu Ming led Wu Fan and continued to move forward. The core of the broken universe was full of broken planets and broken battleships. Huge and lonely meteorites floated in the air. They avoided the meteorites and some cosmic storms as they moved forward quickly. However, the people from the Imperial Advisor's residence, Chu Qinkong, Lu Quan and the others chased after them. Lu Ming, let young master go. If anything happens to young master, all of you will die. The people from the Imperial Advisor's residence shouted. Lu Ming ignored them and led the people from the Dark Ape Battle Clan to fly forward quickly. Soon, they had been flying for 2 hours. Croak, croak, croak. Suddenly, a sharp cry came from a planet that looked like a beast's head. Then, a black flock of large birds flew toward them. This was a terrifying monster with 3 heads. It was full of killing intent and had a wingspan of a few hundred meters. The flock of strange birds rushed toward them. Got it. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He unleashed the ice chains and wrapped them around Wu Fan. The chill on the ice chains sealed Wu Fan in ice. He then flung Wu Fan forcefully. Wu Fan's body flew out like a cannonball towards the group of strange birds. Ah, save me! Save me! Wu Fan shouted. Looking at the approaching strange birds, he almost peed his pants. Young master, damn it! The expert from the Imperial Advisor's residence bellowed in rage. His face drained of color as he charged madly towards Wu Fan, using all his strength. Finally, a few experts from the Imperial Advisor's residence who were good at speed arrived in time. They attacked the strange birds. Then, the rest of the Imperial Advisor's residence arrived and fought with the strange birds. In this way, the people from the Imperial Advisor's residence could not continue to chase Lu Ming and the others. Only the Crown Prince and Chu Qinkong's men were left. Lu Quan and Chu Qinkong looked pale and hesitated. In the end, they stopped and did not continue to chase. They were the only ones left. Even if they could catch up with Lu Ming and the others, it would be a tough battle. The strength of the Nether Ape fighting tribe was terrifying. If they did not do well, both sides would be injured. Moreover, Lu Ming had many tricks up his sleeve. He had killed 3 peak divine kings in a row, so they were not confident. Moreover, Qian Shengxian and her people were following them from afar. In the end, they stopped and went to help the people from the imperial advisor's residence deal with the strange birds. Let's go. Behind them, Qian Shengxian led the people from the imperial advisor's residence and left in another direction. After a while, Wu Fan was finally rescued. They rushed out of the encirclement of the strange birds. Lu Ming, I will kill you. I will kill you. After Wu Fan was rescued, he let out a howl like a wolf. His hatred for Lu Ming turned into raging flames of anger. His entire being was about to combust. Of course, Lu Ming could not hear him now. He had already left and was heading toward the core of the broken universe. After a few more hours, they finally stopped and landed on a meteorite to rest. Many of the Nether Ape fighting tribe were injured and needed time to heal. They stayed there for 2 days, but no one else came. After 2 days, the injured Nether Ape fighting tribe had almost recovered. They continued to move toward the core of the broken universe. Chapter 33:11. More and more monsters appeared in the core of the broken universe. These monsters did not have any intelligence. They attacked as soon as they saw them. They went through a few dangerous places. There. The primordial idol is reacting. Lu Ming's eyes suddenly lit up. Lu Ming had been holding the primordial idol in his hand. There were more god factors here, but it was difficult for them to sense it. Only the primordial idol could sense it. At this moment, the primordial idol began to react. A faint layer of light appeared on its surface. This was a reaction that would only appear when there was god factor nearby. Where is it? Lu Ming and the others looked at a mountain range in front of them. Yes, there was a mountain range floating in the sky. It was as big as a planet. The god factor was emitted from this mountain range. However, even from afar, they were able to sense a powerful fluctuation coming from the mountain range. Be careful, Lu Ming said. They retracted their auras and landed at the edge of the mountain range. There were no plants on the mountain range. There were only bare rocks everywhere. Lu Ming held the primordial idol and went deeper into the mountain range. Roar! Roar! Soon, terrifying roars were heard. Many giant monsters dashed toward Lu Ming and the others. Their auras were terrifying. They were all existences in the 7th King God realm. The 2 Dark Ape Battle Clan members stepped forward and punched out, killing a few of the beasts instantly. However, more monsters came after them. It's right in front of us. Let's go, Lu Ming said. They started to charge forward. Lu Ming held the primordial idol and sensed the direction where the god factor was the thickest. Monsters kept attacking them. Before long, they had killed hundreds of monsters. Most of them were in the 7th layer of the King God realm. There were even some in the 8th layer of the King God realm. After these monsters died, strands of light flew from their bodies to the primordial idol. These were the god factor that was absorbed by the primordial idol. As expected of the core area, the god factor in the monsters is much thicker than outside. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He found that even if he hunted this kind of monster here, the primordial statue would be blessed in the end. Almost there. Moments later, Lu Ming murmured, because at this moment, the primordial divine statue was glowing brightly. In the distance, strands of light could be seen flying over. They were formed by the condensation of God essence, and they were like strips of light. This proved that they were not far from a place with a high concentration of God essence. That is, after walking for a while, Lu Ming saw a huge finger. Yes, it looked like the finger of a desolate beast. It was extremely huge, like a mountain range that stretched across the ground. The dense God factor was coming from this finger. That finger was so rotten that it revealed a jade-white bone. However, it was still emitting a strong and ancient aura. Is this the finger of a primitive god? However, this finger isn't that big. Lu Ming thought as he looked at the finger in front of him. In Lu Ming's impression, those primitive godly spirits were all incomparably huge. Their bodies were even larger than planets. Although the finger in front of him was a few hundred miles long, it was still incomparable to those primitive godly spirits. However, Lu Ming was already very excited. Although the finger was badly rotten, it still contained a lot of God essence. It should be enough for the primordial idol to be blessed. However, the monsters that appeared in the vicinity were much stronger. There were even peak god kings in the 9th layer of the king god realm. Fortunately, there were not too many of them, so the Dark Ape Battle Tribe could still deal with them. More than 20 Dark Ape Battle Tribe members worked together to kill the monsters. The remaining 10 or so Nether Ape Fighting Clan members stood by Lu Ming's side to protect him. Soon, the ground was littered with monster corpses. Lu Ming finally brought the primordial idol to the finger. Buzz. The primordial idol seemed to resonate with the finger. It emitted an ancient aura, as if a primitive god had come back to life. Then, the dense god spirit factor kept flying towards the primordial god statue. It was like ribbons of light, wrapping around the statue. Lu Ming placed the primordial idol on the ground, and waited by the side. 36 Dark Ape Battle Tribe members stood guard around the primordial idol. Roar! 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 Not all of the monsters were killed. There were still monsters coming from all directions, but they were all killed by the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members. It's not easy to get god essence. Lu Ming sighed. Fortunately, he had brought some experts with him. If they had relied on themselves, they would not have succeeded. They would have been torn to pieces by the monsters here. As time passed, the light on the primordial idol grew stronger. Slowly, a mysterious aura spread out. Under this aura, Lu Ming's divine power circulated faster. It seemed that his understanding of the primordial god essence had also sped up. It's working. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Although the primordial idol had not been completely blessed, it was already showing some effect. If it was truly blessed, the effect would be extraordinary. He continued to wait patiently. In the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. After 2 days, the god essence coming out of the finger began to fade. This meant that the god essence in the finger was almost completely absorbed. It hasn't been blessed? What's going on? Lu Ming was a little anxious. Before coming here, he had read a lot of information about the broken universe and the primordial idol's blessing. He had a rough idea. Logically speaking, after absorbing so much god essence, the primordial idol should have been blessed. However, there was still no sign of it being blessed. Could it be that my primordial idol is special? Lu Ming pondered. His primordial idol was indeed tall. It was 1,000 feet tall. The primordial idol he had obtained from the abysmal heavenly king residence was only 1,000 feet tall. The difference in size was even greater. Perhaps this was the reason. The bigger the primordial idol, the more god essence it needed. Similarly, the bigger the primordial idol, the better the effect it would have once it was blessed. Roar. An earth-shattering roar interrupted Lu Ming's thoughts. In the distance, a terrifying aura spread out, covering the sky and covering the earth. It shook the entire mountain range. Not only that, but some meteorites not far away were also shaking. It's a divine lord. Oh no, it's a divine lord monster. The faces of the elites of the Nether Ape Battle Tribe changed drastically. Lu Ming's face also changed drastically. This aura was not something an immortal king could possess. It was definitely a divine lord. This place actually had a divine lord realm monster. Let's go. Lu Ming shouted. With a wave of his hand, he kept the primordial idol and soared into the sky with the Nether Ape Battle Tribe. Chapter 33:12. Lu Ming put away the primordial idol statue and soared into the sky with the 36 Dark Ape Combat Tribe members. Roar. When they rushed out into space, a terrifying roar came from where they were just a moment ago. The starry sky trembled as a terrifying shockwave rushed out and spread in all directions. Lu Ming and the others were also affected. The 36 Dark Ape Combat Tribe members shouted and set up a heavy defense behind them. However, when the shockwave came, 80% of the defense was destroyed. Many of the Dark Ape Combat Tribe members were pale. With the help of the shockwave, they took Lu Ming and flew away at a faster speed. Fortunately, the terrifying existence in the mountain range did not pursue them. After a few more roars, silence returned. Lu Ming heaved a sigh of relief. He felt cold sweat running down his back. The existence of the Divine Lord Realm was too terrifying. Although they had 36 Divine King Realm powerhouses, and each of them was an expert. If they really encountered a Divine Lord Realm powerhouse, They might not be able to defeat it even if they worked together. If they encountered such a terrifying existence, the only way was to run away. After that, they became even more careful. Even if they encountered some monsters, they only dashed past them. They did not dare to kill too many of them for fear of attracting the attention of a divine Lord Realm monster. Half a month later, they passed by a few special places that contained rich god essence. Lu Ming let the primordial idol statue absorb the god essence. However, even after absorbing the god essence from a few places, Lu Ming's primordial idol statue still did not have any god essence. Lu Ming had no choice but to continue searching. Fortunately, they still had a lot of time. If they could stay here for 10 years, it would be less than a year now. On this day, they were flying in a dilapidated area. There were many abandoned items in this area. There were all kinds of small meteorites, abandoned battleships, and even giant divine weapons floating in space. From afar, these things were densely packed. They slowed down to avoid these things and slowly moved forward. Suddenly, Lu Ming's heart beat wildly. He suddenly felt a strong sense of danger. It was as if a terrifying existence had its eyes on him. "Be careful," Lu Ming warned. As soon as the words left his mouth, he heard a furious roar from one of the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members. Boom! In that direction, a terrifying explosion rang out, erupting with violent tremors. That place burst forth with dazzling white light. Whoosh! A dazzling white sword light broke through the fist of the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe member and landed on his fist. Blood splattered everywhere as the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe member's fist was shaved off a layer of flesh, revealing the bone underneath. The Dark Ape Battle Tribe member retreated rapidly. Swish swish. Following that, a dazzling sword light flashed and actually charged towards Lu Ming. "Don't even think about it. Kill." At the side, the other Dark Ape Fighting Tribe members shouted angrily. Several Dark Ape Fighting Tribe members attacked one after another, unleashing terrifying attacks towards the dazzling white light. Several Abyssal Ape Battle Tribe warriors stepped in to block the dazzling sword light. The void trembled continuously as the two sides engaged in an intense confrontation. At this moment, Lu Ming finally saw the appearance of the person who attacked them. It was a man who seemed to be in his 30s. His hair was silver, his skin was white, and he was unbelievably handsome. However, his eyes were filled with terrifying killing intent. The sword light in his hand continuously slashed out with terrifying power. This person's cultivation was probably at the peak of the Divine King realm. However, he was able to hold his ground against 4 Dark Ape Battle Tribe members by himself. Who is this person? He's so strong. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed slightly as a look of suspicion appeared on his face. This person's killing intent was very strong. Moreover, Lu Ming felt that this killing intent was directed at him. It seemed like this person wanted to kill him very much. However, Lu Ming had never seen this person before. He was not from the Imperial Advisor's residence, nor was he from the Crown Prince's residence. He was also not from Chu Qingkong's group. In fact, none of the experts that the others had brought with them looked like this. Boom! The other Dark Ape Battle Tribe members stepped forward to besiege the silver-haired man. However, at this moment, a terrifying sword light suddenly burst out from a small meteorite in another direction. The sword light was like a beam of light. In the blink of an eye, it was right in front of Lu Ming. Its target was also Lu Ming. Fortunately, Lu Ming was protected by the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members. One of the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members shouted angrily as he appeared in front of Lu Ming and swung his iron rod. However, the sword light changed rapidly. In an instant, it turned into hundreds of sword lights and pierced towards the Dark Ape Battle Tribe member like raindrops. Puff! The Dark Ape Battle Tribe member could not withstand the sword light. Sword holes appeared on his body as blood gushed out. He was severely injured. However, the Dark Ape Battle Tribe member still stood in front of Lu Ming and did not move a single step. Kill! A cold shout rang out. The pale sword light surged and continued to attack the injured Dark Ape Battle Tribe member. It wanted to kill him in one move. However, the other Dark Ape Battle Tribe members also attacked. They roared angrily and attacked, blocking the sword light. Lu Ming also saw the attacker. It was a man in his 40s with a head full of silver hair. Other than looking a little older, he resembled the silver-haired man from before. There's more than one. Where did these people come from? Lu Ming was puzzled. Let's attack together and kill them, Lu Ming ordered. Suddenly, even more Dark Ape Battle Tribe members attacked the two silver-haired men. However, the two silver-haired men flashed and dodged the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members' attacks with terrifying speed. Whoosh! 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 The two silver-haired men seemed to have turned into two sword lights. They flashed in the void and moved at extreme speed. Although the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members were strong, they were much slower than their opponents. They could not catch up to their opponent's speed, and could only circle together to defend. Whoosh! Whoosh! From time to time, a terrifying sword light would burst out and slash at Lu Ming. Yes, the sword light was aimed at Lu Ming. It was as if they wanted to kill Lu Ming. Fortunately, the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members had surrounded Lu Ming so tightly that the sword light could not penetrate. After a while, the sword light receded and the two silver-haired men stopped attacking. They stood on a small meteorite not far away, and looked at Lu Ming coldly. Then their bodies flashed and turned into two streaks of light. They disappeared into the distance in an instant. However, Lu Ming did not relax. He had many doubts in his heart. Who were these two silver-haired men? Were they experts brought in by some other prodigy? Why did they want to kill him? I heard that the Crown Prince brought in two other prodigies. Could these two silver-haired men be experts brought in by another prodigy under the Crown Prince? Lu Ming pondered. If that was true, it would be difficult to deal with them. The two silver-haired men were terrifyingly strong. Chapter 33:13. Lu Ming adjusted his mood, and continued to lead the Dark Ape Battle Tribe forward. In the next 2 days, the two silver-haired men did not appear again. Lu Ming and the others were relieved. On this day, they saw a huge battleship. From the outside, this battleship looked very complete. It had not been cut in half, but there were many scars on the outside, such as the scars of swords and spears. Most importantly, when they arrived, the primordial idol in Lu Ming's hand began to glow. There was a strong god spiritual factor in the battleship. Go in. Be careful, Lu Ming warned the Dark Ape Battle Tribe cultivators. Then the group flew into the battleship and landed on a passage. According to the reaction of the primordial idol, the god spiritual factor was in the depths of the battleship. The group carefully moved forward along the passage. Silence. There was no sound from the battleship. It was as if there were no living creatures. Not even the sound of the wind could be heard. But for some reason, Lu Ming felt a sense of danger. It was as if a huge rock was pressing down on his heart. Suddenly, the sense of danger rose sharply. Be careful, Lu Ming shouted. Whoosh! Whoosh! Just as Lu Ming's voice fell, the surrounding sword lights burst out. A few pale white sword lights shot toward the Dark Ape Battle Tribe cultivators. The Dark Ape Battle Tribe cultivators were ready for a big battle. They roared and launched a counterattack. Terrifying collisions and ear-piercing explosions rang out. The sword lights collided with the Dark Ape Battle Tribe cultivators' attacks. In the blink of an eye, they had exchanged more than 100 blows. Silver-haired men again. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. What made him frown was that there were more silver-haired men this time. He saw 5 of them with a casual glance. There were even more of them as more and more sword lights flashed around, attacking the Dark Ape Battle Tribe cultivators. In the end, a total of 9 silver-haired men appeared. All of them were men, and their combat strength was astonishing. The 9 silver-haired men's sword lights filled the sky. The sword lights that filled the sky enveloped the 36 Dark Ape Battle Tribe cultivators. Moreover, the Dark Ape Battle Clan was at a disadvantage. This level of strength was truly astonishing. If it weren't for the fact that the Nether Ape Battle Clan members had cultivated the Ghost Battle art, which gave them incredible battle prowess and a tenacious life force, some of the ordinary peak divine kings would have died already. Even so, the situation was still very bad for them. More and more dark apes were injured, and sword wounds appeared on their bodies. Puff Puff in front of Lu Ming. 2 of the Dark Ape Battle Tribe's members had terrifying sword wounds on their bodies that reached deep into their internal organs. Then, the pale white sword light pierced through the dark ape battle tribe's defenses and headed straight for Lu Ming. Without a doubt, the target of these silver-haired men was still Lu Ming. Don't even think about it. A few dark ape battle tribe members roared and swept their iron rods at the silver-haired man. Clang! Clang! The sound of metal clashing rang out, and the pale white sword light was blocked. You want to kill the combat ancestor? Dream on! Explode! One by one, the dark ape fighting tribe roared furiously. Divine power surged from their bodies, and their eyes were bloodshot. They unleashed their ghost combat art to the extreme. They were like violent apes, preventing the silver-haired men from getting close to Lu Ming. Let's get out of here first. Lu Ming shouted. There were actually so many silver-haired men in this battleship. This was definitely not a coincidence. Lu Ming suspected that the other party had been tracking their whereabouts. Therefore, the other party had set up an ambush in this battleship in advance. Moreover, Lu Ming noticed that these silver-haired men's eyes were filled with killing intent. They didn't have much intelligence, as if they were only killing machines. This was very strange. None of the geniuses who had entered this time had brought such an expert with them. Lu Ming had many questions that he couldn't figure out, but the most important thing right now was to leave this place. The Dark Ape Battle Tribe members began to change their direction and rushed out. With so many Dark Ape Battle Tribe members rushing out, the silver-haired men couldn't stop them. They slowly made their way out of the warship. The 9 silver-haired men chased after them relentlessly, trying to slow them down. However, Lu Ming and the others were about to get out of the warship. At that moment, a sword light burst out from a small passage on the side, bringing with it a terrifying whistling sound as it slashed towards Lu Ming and the others. Wherever the sword light passed, a sword chi storm appeared. Terrifying sword marks appeared on the strange metal on both sides of the passage. The material used to build this warship was definitely of a high grade. Even after so many years, it was still incomparably tough. The battle between the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members and the silver-haired men had only left a faint mark on the metal. However, the sword light that had just appeared was able to leave a clear sword mark on the surface of the warship. It was obvious that the sword light was terrifying. Protect the combat ancestor. Block it. The Dark Ape Battle Tribe members roared as they unleashed their full strength. Several terrifying attacks shot towards the sword light. Rumble. Both sides' attacks exploded with terrifying rumbling sounds. Shockingly, the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members' attacks were forced back by the sword light. The sword light didn't stop. The Dark Ape Battle Tribe members were forced back. Their bodies were covered in sword scars, and they were bleeding profusely. Although the sword light's power had been somewhat weakened, it still continued to attack Lu Ming. Lu Ming's body was being suppressed by the sword energy. Intense pain shot through his body, and he felt like his body was about to split apart. Not good. Lu Ming's heart shook. He felt a terrifying sense of danger. At this moment, he finally saw the person who had attacked him. It was also a man. However, unlike the 9 silver-haired men, this man's hair was golden. Other than the difference in hair color, everything else about him was very similar. His face was ridiculously handsome, and his eyes were filled with berserk killing intent. This person was one with his sword, and his sword light was terrifyingly powerful. He was even stronger than the silver-haired man. The sword light shot towards Lu Ming. If it hit, Lu Ming would definitely die. Battle Ancestor, watch out! A burly Nether Ape Combat Clan member roared and pounced toward Lu Ming, attacking him with all his might. However, the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe member was already injured and could not block the attack at all. The sword light broke through the Dark Ape Fighting Tribe member's attack, and blood spurted out. The Dark Ape Fighting Tribe member's body was cut in half, and his soul was destroyed. This Dark Ape Battle Tribe member had died. This was the first time one of the 36 Dark Apes that Lu Ming had brought in had died. Kill. After killing a Nether Ape, the golden-haired man shouted. His murderous intent was extremely cold. His sword gleam flashed again, slashing toward Lu Ming. It was so fast that the other Dark Ape Battle Tribe members didn't even have time to help. Furthermore, the Dark Ape Battle Tribe member was being held down by the other 9 silver-haired men. Even if he wanted to help, he wouldn't be able to. Just as Lu Ming was about to be killed, Qiu flew out from Lu Ming's wrist and transformed into a shield in front of him. Chapter 33:14. Qiu turned into a metal shield in front of Lu Ming. However, Qiu was still unable to block the golden-haired man's sword. The sword light cut Qiu's shield in two. Qiu. Lu Ming's heart tightened. He was rapidly thinking of a countermeasure. He was thinking of all the things he could use to deal with the golden-haired man. However, with his current strength, there was nothing he could use to block the golden-haired man. In the end, Lu Ming could only think of the copper coffin. However, the mud on the copper coffin was almost gone. There was only a thin layer left. Would it be useful? But now Lu Ming didn't have time to think about that. He directly took out the copper coffin and waved it in front of him. He wanted to block the golden-haired man's attack. However, to Lu Ming's surprise, there was a sudden change. When Lu Ming took out the copper coffin, the golden-haired man's eyes filled with terror. He withdrew his sword light and retreated. Like a mouse that had seen a cat, he turned into a ray of sword light and retreated 1,000 meters away. It wasn't just the golden-haired man. The 9 silver-haired men were also terrified. They all retreated 1,000 meters away, looking at Lu Ming with terror. To be more precise, they were looking at the copper coffin in Lu Ming's hand. This scene was truly beyond Lu Ming's expectations. Are the golden-haired man and the silver-haired man afraid of the copper coffin? Lu Ming was extremely curious. The other Nether Ape Battle Tribe members were also astonished. They gathered around Lu Ming, preparing to defend himself. As for Qiu, the two halves that had turned into 2 balls of liquid metal had now merged back together. It was only a bit sluggish, but it was fine. Lu Ming was relieved. Kill. The golden-haired man and the other 9 silver-haired men stood in the distance, staring at Lu Ming. They constantly growled, killing intent exploding from their eyes. They didn't have much intelligence. However, when they looked at the purple copper coffin, they were filled with fear. Lu Ming was certain that the other party was afraid of the purple copper coffin. Let's go, Lu Ming said and then walked outside. The 9 silver-haired men and 1 golden-haired man followed far behind Lu Ming and the others. They maintained a distance of about 3,000 meters, not daring to get too close. When Lu Ming's group stopped, the silver-haired man and the golden-haired man also stopped, maintaining a distance of 3,000 meters from Lu Ming's group. Soon, Lu Ming and the others left the warship and appeared in space. The golden-haired man and the silver-haired man also came out and stared at Lu Ming and the others. Go, Lu Ming shouted in a low voice. Then he and the dark ape transformed into a rainbow of light and quickly left the place. They flew towards the core of the broken universe. Although this warship had a god spirit gene, they didn't have time to take it. They had to get rid of these stalkers first. However, the golden-haired man and the silver-haired man continued to follow behind them. They really didn't abandon them. Lu Ming was speechless. Furthermore, these people were extremely fast. No matter how much they tried to increase their speed, it was useless. Behind them, Lu Ming had the dark ape battle race get into a defensive position. They formed a circle around him, and then he put away the purple copper coffin. As expected, as soon as the purple copper coffin was put away, the 9 silver-haired men and the golden-haired man transformed into terrifying swordlights that charged at Lu Ming and the others. Lu Ming hastily took out the purple copper coffin. When the purple copper coffin was taken out, the silver-haired man and the golden-haired man all retreated. However, they didn't leave. Just like that, Lu Ming tried a few times but the results were the same. Lu Ming was 100% sure that these people were extremely afraid of the purple copper coffin, but they wanted to kill Lu Ming. Lu Ming still couldn't figure out why these people wanted to kill him. It was really strange. Was there something about him that attracted these people? Where did these people come from? Lu Ming didn't care anymore. He carried the purple copper coffin and continued to move forward. The 9 silver-haired men and the golden-haired man followed. However, after half a day, the golden-haired man growled a few words. Then the golden-haired man and the 9 silver-haired men disappeared in a flash. They left. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. However, he didn't put away the purple copper coffin. Instead, He continued to carry it and led the dark ape battle race forward. After a few hours, the golden-haired man and the silver-haired man still didn't show up. Did they really leave? Let's test it out. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He ordered the dark ape battle race to set up a defense around him. Then he put away the purple copper coffin and waited quietly. After a while, whoosh, a sword light flashed and appeared above Lu Ming's head. It was the golden-haired man who attacked Lu Ming. At the same time, the 9 silver-haired men appeared around them and started to attack. It turned out that the other party hadn't left. They had mastered some mysterious secret technique that allowed them to hide themselves in the void. At the critical moment, they could launch a fatal attack. Fortunately, Lu Ming was prepared. When he saw the other party appear, he immediately took out the purple copper coffin. As soon as the purple copper coffin was taken out, the golden-haired man and the silver-haired man's sword light stopped. They retreated quickly and pulled away from Lu Ming and the others. This seemed to be an instinctive fear. Then they glanced at Lu Ming and the others. Their figures flickered a few times and disappeared. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. He knew that the other party hadn't left. They were still following them, hiding in the dark. Once they had the chance, they would kill them. Let's go. We don't care about them. Lu Ming said. At worst, he would just carry the purple copper coffin and move forward. They continued to move forward. Later, Lu Ming found 2 places with rich god factor. Lu Ming asked the primordial idol to absorb it. Unfortunately, it was not consecrated. However, Lu Ming felt that it would be soon. As long as it absorbed a few more places like this, it should be able to awaken. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. On this day, Lu Ming and the others were flying forward when a group of people suddenly appeared in front of them. It's them, Lu Quan. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. In front of them was a group of people. One of them was Lu Quan, a prodigy under the Crown Prince, and the 36 experts he had brought with him. Those sent by the Crown Prince were the elites of the elites. Until now, none of them had died. In addition to Lu Quan, there was another young man with more than 30 people. Lu Ming recognized that this young man was also sent by the Crown Prince. This time, the Crown Prince sent a total of 2 young prodigies, each with 36 experts. Chapter 33:15. The 2 prodigies under the Crown Prince had gathered together. It was clear that they wanted to work together to absorb the god factor. The 2 prodigies that they had brought with them worked together. No one would be able to defeat them this time. It's Lu Ming. Lu Ming had noticed Lu Quan and the others. Lu Quan and the others had also noticed Lu Ming. Lu Quan and the other young man looked at each other. Their eyes were filled with murderous intent. This time, the Crown Prince had secretly warned them to get rid of Lu Ming if they had the chance. They did not expect to run into Lu Ming now. They would not miss this opportunity. Chase after him. Don't let him get away. Lu Quan growled. He led his prodigies and rushed toward Lu Ming. The other young man did the same. It was as if he was afraid that Lu Ming would run away. The Nether Ape Battle Tribe's prodigies tensed up. They were ready to fight. Don't worry. These people came at the right time. Lu Ming's lips curled into a cold smile. He secretly transmitted a message to the Nether Ape Battle Tribe. Then, they stood still in the starry sky. Lu Ming isn't running away. Does he think that the Nether Ape Battle Tribe is enough to fight us? What a joke. Lu Quan's heart skipped a beat. His eyes were filled with mockery and murderous intent. They moved very quickly. In a few breaths, they had crossed the long distance and arrived beside Lu Ming. Surround them. Lu Quan shouted. Lu Quan and the other young man's prodigies moved in a flash and surrounded Lu Ming. Hee hee, Lu Ming, you didn't run when you saw us. Today will be the day you die. Lu Quan sneered. He did not hide his murderous intent. Run? Why would I run? I'll wait here and make a deal with you. How about that? Lu Ming smiled. Deal? What deal? Lu Quan asked. I found a place that is filled with god factor. However, there are many powerful monsters in that place. I can't handle them all alone. Why don't we work together and kill those monsters? We'll split the god factor equally. What do you think? Lu Ming said. He was just spouting nonsense. His goal was to stall for time so that the golden-haired man and the 9 silver-haired men could follow him. However, Lu Quan didn't know that. His gaze flickered as he asked, "There's such a place? Tell me, where is it?" "Unless you swear that we'll work together, I won't tell you," Lu Ming said. "You don't want to say? Hee Lu Ming, do you think you have the qualifications to bargain with me now? You're really naive. Tell me and I'll leave your corpse intact." Lu Quan sneered. "Then let's do it," Lu Ming said, appearing very unyielding. "Since you want to die, we'll fulfill your wish. We don't want the god spirit factor anymore. Who knows what tricks you're playing? Killing you would make me feel more at ease," Lu Quan said coldly. He exchanged a glance with the other young man, and was about to give the order to attack. At that moment, Lu Ming suddenly looked behind Lu Quan and said with a look of horror, "What's that?" Lu Quan and the others were shocked. They hurriedly looked over, but they saw nothing. It was empty. "Lu Ming, how dare you trick me? I'll make sure you die a horrible death," Lu Quan roared. However, he didn't notice that Lu Ming had already put away the purple copper coffin at that moment. "Watch out," Lu Ming roared, deliberately reminding him. However, Lu Quan and the others didn't believe Lu Ming's nonsense at all. They thought that Lu Ming was lying to them. "Kill," Lu Quan roared, but before he could finish his sentence, clang, clang, sword light flashed around them. The sky was filled with sword light that attacked the experts brought by Lu Quan and the other young man. The experts sent by the Crown Prince were indeed powerful. Their combat strength was shocking, and they weren't weaker than the Dark Ape Battle Tribe. However, at that moment, their attention was focused on Lu Ming and the others. They didn't pay attention to what was behind them. Moreover, Lu Ming had already tricked them once. Now that Lu Ming shouted again, they wouldn't believe Lu Ming. Therefore, when the sword light flashed, they didn't have time to block it. "Ah!" Continuous screams were heard. In an instant, 8 of the Crown Prince's experts were killed. The 8 experts were all split in half. Their souls were annihilated, and they died on the spot. Only 2 of them were lucky enough to block the attack of the 2 silver-haired men, but they were also seriously injured. Lu Quan and the others were stunned. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The sword light flashed again. The dazzling sword light illuminated the universe. At that moment, the Crown Prince's experts finally reacted and began to counterattack. All kinds of attacks burst out and finally blocked the attack of the sword light. After all, Lu Quan and the other young man had brought too many people. Even if 8 of them were killed, there were still more than 60 people left. Although the silver-haired man was strong, he was still blocked. However, the golden-haired man's strength was terrifying. It was difficult to resist. Clang. The sound of the sword resounded through the sky. The golden-haired man's eyes flashed with killing intent. Terrifying sword light constantly slashed out. After a few moves, another scream was heard. Another expert under Lu Quan was killed. "It's effective." The corners of Lu Ming's lips curled up slightly, revealing a cold smile. Previously, he deliberately stayed here, and was surrounded by Lu Quan and the others. He wanted to lure the silver-haired man, and the golden-haired man to attack Lu Quan and the others. After observing along the way, he found that the silver-haired man and the golden-haired man didn't have high spiritual intelligence. They were full of killing intent and killing intent. They wanted to kill Lu Ming. As long as the purple copper coffin didn't deter them, they would attack Lu Ming and the others crazily. Subconsciously, they would think that those who were with Lu Ming were Lu Ming's helpers. Sure enough, when he put away the purple copper coffin, the silver-haired man and the golden-haired man attacked, causing Lu Quan and the others to suffer heavy losses. Moreover, the people brought by Lu Quan and the other young man surrounded Lu Ming and the others, indirectly protecting them. However, Lu Quan and the others were unaware of this. At this moment, Lu Quan was furious. The experts he brought were all elites brought by the Crown Prince. It would be a great loss if even one of them died. In just a short while, he and the other young man had lost 9 people. It was a great loss. Kill these bastards," Lu Quan roared, glaring at the golden-haired man and the silver-haired man. He couldn't wait to tear them to pieces. The other young man had the same reaction. The experts under the Crown Prince attacked with all their might, trying to kill the silver-haired man and the golden-haired man. There were more than 60 people on both sides. The power of their attacks was indeed terrifying. The silver-haired man was at a disadvantage. Chapter 33:16. The silver-haired man was extremely fast. He turned into a beam of sword light and flashed. Although the Crown Prince had sent out many experts, they could not kill him in a short time. As for the golden-haired man, he was even more terrifying. The sword light whistled and cut across the starry sky. Terrifying sword scars appeared in the void as they attacked the Crown Prince's subordinates. The Crown Prince's subordinates were no match for the golden-haired man. They were forced to retreat. Not long after, another miserable cry sounded. Another person was killed. Quick, let's work together and set up a joint attack array. Lu Quan shouted. Without his command, the Crown Prince's subordinates had already started to set up a joint attack array. The 12 peaked divine kings stood in different positions and formed a formation array. After setting up the formation array, their divine power surged, and they finally blocked the golden-haired man's attack. Then, the others rushed over and formed a joint attack, wanting to kill the golden-haired man. Whoosh! Whoosh! At this moment, another beam of sword light flashed in the void above their heads. It was a new beam of sword light. There were 2 beams of sword light, and they were extremely powerful. There's a new one. Lu Ming's heart thumped wildly. He saw 2 more figures appear in the void above his head. These 2 figures had blonde hair and looked extremely handsome. They were 2 more golden-haired men. They were extremely powerful, and they were not weaker than the golden-haired man who had appeared at the beginning. The sword light slashed down and each beam of sword light split the 2 experts. Pucci. 4 experts were killed along with cries of agony and blood. Oh no! The Crown Prince's subordinates were shocked and they quickly blocked the attack. However, the golden-haired man was too powerful. It was impossible for the Crown Prince's subordinates to block the sudden attack without setting up a formation array. The 2 golden-haired men appeared behind the golden-haired man. They were like tigers in a flock of sheep. Following that, more and more experts were killed, falling one after another. Lu Quan and the other young supreme talent were really panicking. In just a short while, from the moment the golden-haired man and the silver-haired man appeared, the 2 of them had already lost 16 experts. These were the elites of the 16 peaked divine kings. It was a great loss. They did not know how to explain it to the Crown Prince when they got out. Retreat, let's retreat first. Lu Quan was scared. He wanted to retreat and roared. That's right, let's go. Another young man also roared. If this continued, more of them would die. Most importantly, they couldn't figure out the relationship between the blonde and silver-haired men and Lu Ming. If Lu Ming and the others cooperated with these people, they would be in even more danger. He couldn't care less about Lu Ming now. It was more important to preserve his strength. Lu Quan and the other young chosen joined forces and attacked madly. After leaving behind 2 more corpses, they finally broke through and fled into the distance. Fortunately, the golden-haired man and the silver-haired man did not chase after them after they rushed out. What happened? Lu Quan turned his head hurriedly and saw the golden-haired man and the silver-haired man. They turned their heads and charged toward Lu Ming and the rest. The sky was filled with sword gleams, enveloping the entire starry sky and Lu Ming and the rest. These people, are they here to kill Lu Ming and the others? Their target is Lu Ming and the others? Lu Quan was not stupid. He was a chosen one and was very smart. When he saw the situation, he immediately guessed the truth. When he thought of this, he was so angry that he almost vomited blood. Damn it! The muscles on Lu Quan's face contorted in anger. At the same time, the others also thought of this. They gritted their teeth. They were so angry that their hearts, liver, and bodies hurt. They knew that they were fooled by Lu Ming. They finally knew why Lu Ming didn't run when he saw them. Was he using them? The golden-haired man and silver-haired man's target was Lu Ming and the others, but they foolishly blocked the spears for Lu Ming and the others. In the end, 18 of them were killed. Lu Quan was so angry that he couldn't take it anymore. He roared like a beast. Stop, I want to see that kid die. Lu Quan roared. They stopped not far away. He wanted to see Lu Ming and the others get killed. If Lu Ming and the others rushed out, they would hit them when they were down and stop Lu Ming and the others. But in the next moment, they widened their eyes. Originally, the sword light was about to envelop Lu Ming and the others. At this time, Lu Ming suddenly took out a purple copper coffin. When the purple copper coffin appeared, the golden-haired man and silver-haired man were like frightened rats. They ran away and retreated. What is going on? Lu Quan almost bit his tongue. At this time, Lu Ming's eyes looked at Lu Quan and the others. He led the Dark Ape Battle tribe members and flew toward Lu Quan and the others. Lu Quan, don't run. My previous proposal is still valid. Let's cooperate and absorb the God factor. Lu Ming shouted as he flew toward Lu Quan and the others. In the blink of an eye, the distance between the two sides closed. Lu Quan jumped up and shouted, Lu Ming, don't come over. Get out of my way. Lu Quan shouted and led the elites under him to run forward. He did not dare to let Lu Ming get close to him. Don't go, let's catch up. Lu Ming shouted and stuck to Lu Quan and the others. Lu Quan wanted to curse. Who wants to catch up with you? Who knows you? We are enemies, okay? Seeing Lu Ming and the others getting closer and closer, he was about to cry. Behind them, the 3 golden-haired men and the 9 silver-haired men flashed and disappeared. Lu Quan and the others' eyes lit up. They thought that the golden-haired men and the silver-haired men had left. Lu Ming, you son of a bitch. How dare you hurt us? Let's kill him together. Lu Quan shouted. Another young elite had the same thought. This time, they had suffered a great loss. They would not be able to answer to the crown prince and would be severely punished. When they thought of the crown prince's terrifying means, they shuddered and broke out in a cold sweat. Now, only by killing Lu Ming would they be able to make up for their mistakes and answer to the crown prince. The two sides charged toward Lu Ming and the others. Although they had lost some of their men, they were confident that they could kill Lu Ming and the others easily. The two sides closed in quickly. As for Lu Ming, he simply put away the purple copper coffin. The 35 Dark Ape fighting tribe members set up a defense and surrounded them like an iron bucket. Boom, boom, boom. The elites under the crown prince made their move. They exploded with terrifying attacks and blasted toward Lu Ming and the others. However, the 35 Dark Ape fighting tribe members did not want to make any mistakes. They set up a heavy defense and successfully blocked the attacks of Lu Quan and the others. Let's see how long you can block them. Kill them. Lu Quan shouted with red eyes. Chapter 33:17. The Dark Ape fighting tribe managed to fend off the first wave of attacks from Lu Quan and the others. Lu Quan and the others immediately launched a second wave of attacks. However, at this moment, sword gleams flashed in all directions. The terrifying sword gleams engulfed Lu Quan and the rest, as well as Lu Ming and the rest. It was the blonde and silver-haired men again. Lu Ming immediately took out the purple copper coffin. The moment the purple copper coffin was taken out, the sword light that was attacking them immediately retracted. However, Lu Quan and the others were not so lucky. The sword light flashed and screams could be heard. Blood splattered everywhere, and at least 7 or 8 experts were killed in an instant. Ah! Lu Quan let out a crazed cry. Just now, a sword light had flashed past him, cutting a Peak God King expert in two. He had almost wet his pants from fright. Damn it! Retreat! Retreat! Lu Quan came to his senses and roared hysterically. He understood that the blonde and silver-haired men did not leave. He had been tricked by Lu Ming again. At this moment he only wanted to escape. Lu Quan and the other young genius gathered together and tried to escape from the encirclement. They were not in the mood to continue fighting. They were completely suppressed by the blonde and silver-haired men. Many of them were killed. When they managed to break out of the encirclement, they paid the price of another 8 experts. In the beginning, each of them had brought 36 people with them. In total, there were 72 experts. But now only 36 of them were left. It was tragic. Lu Quan was on the verge of tears. Tears welled up in his eyes. He felt so wronged. Ah! Lu Ming, I will kill you! Lu Quan roared in anger. His killing intent was extremely cold. What? You want to kill me? Come on then. Not far away, Lu Ming carried the purple copper coffin and rushed over with the dark ape fighting tribe's experts. You. Don't come over. Lu Quan trembled in fear and ran away with the rest of the people. He did not dare to stay any longer. Don't run. Didn't you want to kill me? Don't run. Lu Ming chased after him anxiously, yelling at him. Don't come over. Get lost. Lu Quan shouted and his face turned pale. Come, let's hurt each other. Lu Ming continued to give chase. He wanted to use the golden-haired man and the silver-haired man to eliminate Lu Quan's men. But this time, Lu Quan and the others had learned their lesson. They would not stop even if they were beaten to death. Even if they saw the golden-haired man and the silver-haired man disappear into the air. They did not stop. Lu Ming and his men chased after them for half a day. However, Lu Quan and the others were running as fast as they could. They simply couldn't catch up. Lu Ming knew that Lu Quan and the others wouldn't stop. They wouldn't fall for Lu Ming's trick. They wouldn't have another chance like before. In the end, Lu Ming stopped chasing, and Lu Quan and the others disappeared from Lu Ming's line of sight. However, the golden-haired man, the silver-haired man, and the others definitely did not leave. They were hiding in the surrounding void, waiting for an opportunity to attack. Go! Lu Ming continued to lead the Dark Ape Battle Tribe to the core of the broken universe. But for the next few days, they couldn't shake off the golden-haired man and the silver-haired man. The golden-haired man and the silver-haired man were like nails, entangling them tightly. It was as if they wouldn't give up until they killed Lu Ming. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't shake them off. Why do these people want to kill me? How can I shake them off? Lu Ming frowned and pondered, but he couldn't think of an effective plan. Lu Ming was a little worried. He was afraid that if this continued, the deterrence of the copper coffin would weaken, and the golden-haired man and the silver-haired man would take the risk to attack them. Then they would be in danger. Not long after, they arrived at a broken planet. The golden-haired man and the silver-haired man's target should be me. So you guys stay here. I'll distract them alone. Lu Ming said. He finally made a decision. He would distract the golden-haired man and the silver-haired man alone. He didn't want to see the Dark Ape Battle Tribe suffer any losses. Lu Ming had been heartbroken for a long time when one of them died. These Dark Ape Battle Tribe members were loyal to him. They were the cornerstone of his rise in the future. Every loss was difficult to make up for. If this continued, the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members would be in danger. So Lu Ming made the decision to let the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members stay here. He would distract the golden-haired man and the silver-haired man alone. After all, the golden-haired man and the silver-haired man's target was him. As long as he left, the Dark Ape Battle Tribe would be fine. No, it's too dangerous. We can't let the warlord take the risk alone. That's right. At worst, we'll fight them to the death. As soon as Lu Ming spoke, the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members began to clamor. They were determined to oppose Lu Ming's suggestion. This is an order. Are you going to disobey my order? Lu Ming's face darkened. Warlord, we don't want to disobey your order, but it's too dangerous. Yes, absolutely not. The Dark Ape Battle Tribe members began to protest. I have the purple copper coffin. What's there to be afraid of? You think I'm going to risk my life? Don't worry, I have full confidence that I can shake them off. Alright, I've made up my mind. You don't have to say anything more, Lu Ming said. But the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members wanted to say something more. Say no more. If you disobey my order, you'll be violating the tribe rules. You'll be expelled from the Dark Ape Battle Tribe. Lu Ming waved his hand. His voice was resolute. In the end, the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members shook their heads and sighed. I'll leave this primordial deity statue to you. Your task is to consecrate it and wait for me here. Don't worry, I'll be fine. After saying that, Lu Ming did not linger. He carried the purple copper coffin and soared into the sky. In the blink of an eye, he was a few thousand miles away. When he looked back, he saw that the Dark Ape Battle Tribe members had not been attacked. It was obvious that the golden-haired man and the silver-haired man were chasing after him. Come on if you want to chase after me. Lu Ming's eyes flashed coldly. He used the Garuda art of the 9 heavens and turned into a giant Garuda. He flapped his wings and flew into the depths of the starry sky. However, Lu Ming could still feel a terrifying murderous intent shrouding him. No matter how he flew, the murderous intent lingered around him. For the next half a month, Lu Ming did not know how far he had flown. However, the murderous intent was still there. Lu Ming knew that the golden-haired man and the silver-haired man were still following him. This kind of feeling was really not good. Being constantly stared at by some terrifying existence and having his life threatened was a kind of torture. Fortunately, Lu Ming's mind was strong. He had been through a lot. If he was an ordinary person, he would have broken down. However, what made Lu Ming's face turn serious was that the golden-haired man and the silver-haired man seemed to be getting bolder. From time to time, they would appear around Lu Ming and stare at Lu Ming with murderous intent. It seemed like they were testing the purple copper coffin to see if it was dangerous. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.